are so glad you made it to another Monday stream. Today, we're going to talk Looks Rare. We're going to talk Art Block Season 6. We're going to talk the weekend, which in 124-hour period had the third highest volume ever in OpenSea or something and had like half of August volume. It's crazy. We're going to do a giveaway as well for an NFT. One of those damn chats. Let's go.
Club NGMI.
What's up, fellas? How you doing? How you doing, Lou?
Is that Budweiser shirt too?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, I got
you
rugged.
got your Budweiser stuff.
Yeah, I got rugged on the Budweiser mint. Somebody stole one of the NFTs I bought, so I got a refund. I got some swag. Got some sick sunglasses. got a Budweiser t-shirt. Got a koozie instead of thousands of dollars. You know, it's good. It's good.
Good
so
stuff.
Lou, how was your week?
Yeah, I didn't know we were supposed to bring swag today. I would have prepared.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the week was crazy. I wasn't really around on Saturday when it was the full-on peak everything happening. So only if I like had stuff listed would it have gone. But yeah, it was a pretty wild weekend as far as NFTs go. It's cooled off somewhat today, which as expected, but I feel like there's still a lot going on in NFTs in general.
How about you, Trey? How was your week?
Man, it's good. It's good to just. I mean, I know as much as we say that it's summer, it feels exactly like it. Where it's just like you see those, especially with those icy alerts coming through. It's pretty easy to follow, and it just seems like every single one of these, I'm kind of itching to mint. Which 2 months ago I was like, man, I don't want to mint anything because it's just throwing ETH away. So it's definitely fun. Saturday was just one of those crazy days where you just refresh OpenSea or you refresh your WGMI, and it keeps going up, and you can't even keep track of which projects are pumping because it's pretty much all of them. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. I mean, definitely better than a couple months ago. I meant to wear. I was gonna have. I was excited because my Peaceful Groupies merch was supposed to be coming in. I opened it up, and it ended up being a Premier Racing Setups logo. So I don't know what happened. I DM'd them. They're getting me my merch. They're like, wow, that's really weird. Ironically, sweatshirt is super comfortable. So I've been rocking it the last few days. I'm loving it.
I love it. How about you, Babs?
Yeah, week was good. Oh man, like Lou and Trey said, Saturday was crazy. It was so hard to keep up. I don't have as many NFT bags as Trey does, so it didn't impact me as much. I sold all that stuff that was pumping already, but I mean, it was fun to watch, and all the mints firing off constantly. Again, hard to keep up with, especially on the weekend with a dad with young kids, Dangy, as you would know. It was a little bit of a nightmare. I think one day I minted 6 things, and then I couldn't keep track of what I minted. But a ton of fun. I'm trying to get on the new, I'm diamond handsing stuff. That's been going okay until Art Blocks today, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But otherwise, I didn't feel like the best part of the week for me was getting free money handed down to me between POW and the Looks Rare drop today. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done much. So it was good because of those. Keep airdropping us free money, please.
So Pump Skull in the chat is saying Saturday afternoons are death for the dads. I actually disagree. My 4-year-old decided that she wanted to go on a stroller ride around the driveway. So I was on the Discord. I was chatting with people and looking at NFTs for like an hour while she napped in the stroller, and I was just literally going up and down on the driveway. And it was delightful. It was a wonderful day. So yeah, I was going to ask you about that diamond hands idea, Babs, because this is. And I'm going back and forth on it. We talk low IQ, mid IQ, high IQ. I wish I had diamond hands instead of tax loss harvesting now, but are we just kind of like off? I'm thinking now out loud, like, am I off cycle of like, should I not be diamond handing now? Or like, do we expect more days like this Saturday to come up again, as far as just random, I'll call them scam pumps, just appear and then just pump everything?
I
So
I don't think Saturday was really an anomaly in the fact that I find more and more projects, things are pumping after reveal, right? Like where before selling pre-reveal was guaranteed, like you made money, the floor was going to drop by 40% after. I find now like it drops for an hour or two, and then it's back to what the pre-reveal price was anyway. So why are you selling pre-reveal
Oh my God.
for most projects, which is crazy.
Speaking of which, this Last Supper, these guys are ripping.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
well, the Discord was going crazy, and like I'll use
Oh
those.
my God.
They have 20 million followers. That one guy.
That's insane. That doesn't even make
like I'll use those creeps as an example. Like they got to maybe 0.4 pre-reveal, and I think like 2 days after the revealed floor was 0.8, right? Like so, I find selling pre-reveal you're getting punished more and more. Like sure, for the odd bad project, still like you would have been better off selling, but even the chubbies today, like there's more projects that if you sold pre-reveal, you're probably looking bad, right? So I'm trying to get more of the habit of holding things on decent projects, especially, and see where it goes. Like Fanta Bears, I'm still kicking myself about. We can talk about those, but Lou was the only one that made out with a bandit on those. Like I minted 2.
One.
Yeah, I only minted 2, but I thought they looked dumb, but does it matter if we think they look dumb? It doesn't matter at all, right? Like I need to get over that stuff a bit. My biases and my affinity to want a paper hands, right? Like I'll use Gary V's sushi restaurant as an example. Like I have a 8 Ethereum bag right now. I'm still holding it. I don't want an 8 Ethereum restaurant bag. I don't even live in New York. Like, what am I doing? Like, but I'm trying to hold it. Like it's such a weird, like what simulation are we living in, right?
What's the floor on I forgot about that drop, to be honest. I knew that it happened or whatever.
Yeah, so I bought
you paid 8.
I bought the expensive one. I bought like the 4.5 Ethereum one. And the reason being is I thought I wouldn't have to compete with all the poorer papers, right? So if I buy the expensive one, there's more rich people. Maybe they hold it a bit longer. Like that was my thesis. So we'll see if it works out. But yeah, I still have that. I'm hoping Gary V pumps it at some point. He hasn't really talked about it, so.
He's got too busy
he's
on
all about the
games.
books.
Yeah,
he's all on the books. Which I haven't
mine.
played mine yet. Did you guys?
I just got mine. Yeah.
Was it hard to play?
No, it was actually
still claimed him, Dangy?
pretty easy.
I claimed him. Yeah, I know.
Can
it's
they still
unethical.
claim? I mean,
he's gonna
call you out.
He's gonna shame you.
Listen,
Was he calling people out today?
Are we ever gonna get him on this show?
No, in
Two
February,
of us
I think he
refunded
said.
his books.
My only retort to Gary is I want to know how he sourced the things that he's selling for these NFTs and where those came from. Because are we your swap meet now? Are we your garage sale where you print NFTs on Immutable, cheap for everybody, including yourself and your team, Gary? Fine, I'm down with low gas fees. So I get this thing and now I can buy physical merch from you? What is this? What are we doing here? It just seems kind of bonkers. Maybe he's closed the loop finally, or he's trying to close the loop, or it's a really long loop as far as giving him royalties. I don't know. But either way, I'm a big fan of sushi. Love the Fly Fish Club. Can't wait to go attend sushi dinner there at some point in the near future. Just Omicron's got me spooked. So, right now I can't make it up there. Oh, wait. The sushi restaurant doesn't open until 2023 something. So
yeah, heavy bag, Babs. That is
I know.
heavy bag.
I'm feeling very papery. I'm trying to be more like
Babs,
I mean, the people that papered their V friends are pissed. So you kind of just have to, low IQ.
Yeah, there's not 125,000 V friends though.
Yeah.
What was the Fanta Bears thesis when that was minting? Why did we mint it?
I didn't have a thesis, to be honest. I didn't even know that Jay Chow was involved.
Which day did it mint?
Friday night, I think. I want to say it was
Jay
Friday
Chow.
night or something. Yeah.
Jay Chow
I missed the mint. My thesis was this guy is a massive influencer in Asia. And we've always said when China, this was the first actual opportunity for when China to come true. So Ja actually was DMing me. He's like, yeah, are you in on these fans of Bears? They're starting to go crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But then he gave me like a 2-sentence thesis on it. And he had me sold. So I bought in a semi-rare one at the time. It was like a 2.5 floor. And then it got up to what, 7.5?
It was 8. It was 8, I think.
It might have
was,
hit
right?
8.
Right.
Just so wild.
Yeah.
That was on
Well,
Saturday.
I wish I
sold
knew
2 for 8.5, so I think
Yeah.
it might have even gotten up to
It
that.
was close. I just wish I knew who Jay Chow was more so. Like, I know someone said he was like a big Asian like pop star influencer. I just didn't know the quantum of how popular he was, I guess, right? Like,
Yeah.
like John Stamos has a Mad Rabbit Club PFP on Twitter right now. Like, you think that matters for Mad Rabbit Club? No. So like,
No.
you just don't know the comparison of like how popular he was, I guess. I wish I would have researched it more, right?
I didn't think of like it's more like, well, I was comparing it to the Nameless, the ON ones, because it was kind of like the Logan Paul pump, where like he was this big influencer and he was on each of his like, well, for Jay Chow, I think he was doing it on Instagram where he was like posting it to his story, like, oh, you got to get in, and like all this stuff on his story, and he was just pumping it to his own followers, who probably just do whatever he says at this point because they want to be like part of his crew kind of thing. So once I started seeing how much he was pumping those, I was like, well, I need to at least buy one of these. I don't want to miss out if it goes to like 7. I don't know.
My point,
It's kind of crazy.
There is Jay Chow is the reason that I'm into Fanta Bears, and I lost the thread and I just sold them way too low before the pump happened. I'm not going to lose the thread on this Gary V restaurant. There seems to be a real world application, whether or not you agree with it being just a membership pass, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's going to pump it. He's going to say, "Oh, like just close your eyes."
Why?
Everybody at home, if you're not driving, close your eyes and imagine.
Why is he going to pump this over his books or over
imagine Gary
Gonna pump all
the
of
women and war? Like, he's too many things that he's pumping at this point. He's like,
but he's going to
just
go
spread
to
so
a ribbon
out.
cutting. He's going to have a golden
2023?
shovel.
Yeah, I'm not holding this till
He's gonna have a
2023. Like, come on. There's no way. There's no way I'm holding it that long.
Call it now. Shovel Day 2023. These things are going to fly.
I'm going to go sit in the omakase room with all my rich buddies, and we're going to eat sushi. Yeah.
Yeah, you and Price are going to just sit there and stare at the rest of us outside.
Fucking pricks.
I do think that, to me, that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to make bets. I have theses. I'm going to guess that they're right, more right than wrong, and I'm going to make bets on them, which is a decent transition into looks if we want to go there next.
Well,
Lou, what do you have?
My secondary argument on this is US influencers there's more of. So when you have these like specific countries that are smaller countries and less people that are like big influencers, I think that's where something like the Jay Chow goes off versus like Gary V is an influencer here in the States, but they also have all these TikTok influencers and all of these like sports, you know. Did I freeze?
Yeah.
No, you
good.
just sound ancient when you say TikTok influencers. I don't know why.
Oh, you froze now.
I think you did
TikTok's
freeze.
big.
Yeah, he froze after he said, "Did I freeze?"
The premonition from Lou.
He was like
That's funny.
predicting the future.
Lou uses OBS.
There
Who
you
knew?
go.
Lou, are you
Well,
back?
it's on my computer. But
Welcome
yeah,
back, Lou.
that's my thought. Is it's more like, I feel like at this point there's like with Top Shot, right? The first 10 NBA players that tweeted about it, it was like a big deal. But then by the time it got to like, say someone like Jimmy Butler, who's like a big name player. However, that's good. However, like at that point, you've already had 10 of these Kevin Hart's or Josh Hart, sorry, who come in, and like there's just more people that are trying to get into it, I feel like. So it's still somewhat of a first mover advantage, I think, because Jay Chow's in Japan, right? Is that where he's
I believe he's
pumping?
Taiwanese.
Oh, Taiwan, yeah. So it was just kind of it might have been a one-off. Probably was a one-off.
Which this goes back to the Saturday scam pump. Those damn fluffy polar bears. It's like, oh, this Turkish artist is very popular. Then they started running. That I think that one hurt
Oh
me the
my
most
God.
because
Yeah,
I went hard at those things and they just
that is so
immediately
rough.
adjusted.
Yeah, I had
Did
20.
you still have
and-
any going into this weekend?
No,
I tax loss harvested all of mine. Like I had
Absolutely.
15 like the week before
Yeah.
January 1st. Like I
have
held on to those things. Like I was the one that was like diamond hit. I was like, if we get another bull market, these might be on. This might be it. And then Dangy started talking about tax loss harvesting and all that shit. And I was like, wow, these would be a good tax loss harvest. And here I am with 0 fluffy polar bears.
Everyone who
in
wanted their
run.
things to work out and then they dumped them at the end of the year for tax
Yeah,
loss,
right.
they start seeing them pump and they buy
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah,
Did you guys
so-
do that with anything?
I didn't.
I didn't do
No.
that with anything. No.
There
I
were a
can't
couple
do
that
it.
I looked at
I
that I
can't.
thought of.
I can't do it. I've like no patience for like I just I have a friend who sold his critters at like 0.25 and then rebought 3 at 0.5. I just can't do it. Like I just can't sell something and rebuy it like an hour later for more.
No.
It's just like I just can't get my mind past it.
Oh my God.
What's
Lou's-
going on
Lou's
with
gone
the
Double Lou,
screen?
double Lou.
Lou's out of this
Yeah,
world.
Lou.
Yeah.
Here, we'll let Lou get that sorted out. I don't know what's going on with Lou's screen. So talking about rebuying, that's a decent transition into my experience with art blocks today, because we minted art blocks. It was the start of season 6 for the curateds. Congratulations, art blocks. You're 6 years old now. And we were relatively frothy for this. Art blocks curated from like late last week, like, oh, this looks cool. We like it. And then other folks, welcome back, Lou. Other folks were interested in it as well. And then it got down to 2.4 ETH. And then just buys started piling up. I did not expect 2.4, but that's where people went. And I ended up selling my first for like 4.6 ETH. Great win. Good day in the office. Should have closed the computer, because then I bought again because they just kept going. And then at some point, the buyers just stopped. They just like a snap of a fingers, just stopped buying, which we've never seen before. And I know Babs was kind of tilted about that. So Babs, what was your art blocks experience like?
So like you said, I was mad it sold out at 2.4. Like I don't think it should have sold out at 2.4. Like the last curates have all been selling out around like 1, even lower than 1, and they've all kind of dusted. So like in my head, I was thinking it was going to get to like 1.4. So like having it sell out at 2.4, I wasn't really mentally prepared for. Obviously, I fired because I actually liked the art of this one, and I wanted one, and I have huge FOMO. So like I was okay buying it there, but then the experience after of I didn't list mine. I had a floor one. I actually liked the art. I was watching the buys, like everyone else, we're getting super bullish because they were flying. Like you saw them like basically rocket nonstop. There was no U. I think the floor got up to 4.35 at one point, and that's when I decided to list. There was like, hardly any listed. Like listings weren't really coming in. I listed mine at 4.74. And that's the moment the buys stopped. I had like 5 under me, and then 5 minutes later, the floor was 3.3. Yeah, so I've never seen something use so hard down, like 1 ETH dropping the floor after 5 minutes. I think the floor is still around 3. Most like my cost basis was like 2.6 something. So not great now, but at least I can probably sell and get my money out if I want. But again, back to the whole art blocks thing. It's not what it used to be. It is what it is. Yeah, that was my experience.
But this one's really weird as far as the price action goes. I don't know. I want to chew on a little more. Trey, did you go into art blocks today?
I was excited for this one. I have just not. I've been on the struggle bus with art blocks lately. Like as well as I did on them over the summer when it was just a print fest, I cannot figure it out at this point. Like the ones that I do go in on dust, and then it seems like the ones that I miss or don't go in on, they end up doing well. So I went into this thinking I was gonna fire at any.
Do we lose him?
Opportunity. So I ended up not firing. Did I freeze? I saw everything
Yeah,
go
we're good.
out.
Yeah,
Am
you
I
froze
back?
for a second. You're good. You're good.
We're
You're
doing
good.
great.
So So
Am I back?
far
No.
on the live show, we've lost Lou, Lou's video. We've lost Trey's audio for a moment, and pre-show, Babs couldn't get his headset to
You good
work, so
now?
I'm sure I might have a heart attack during the show, and then it might be over. So call my wife if that does happen.
Everything started loading, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they lost me.
So you were into our blocks.
Okay.
You were gonna fire, but then you chose not to.
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting it to go below 2. And like I said, I've just had some bad experiences lately where I end up buying these curateds and then they just sit in my wallet. And I'm not the type of person that's just going to take an L on them. I'm looking to profit on these things. So usually they just end up putting a hole in my wallet. So as much as I did like these, my plan was to kind of watch the U hopefully happen, which might be happening right now, I guess. So I'll be keeping my eye on it a little bit here, but I was hoping it would get under mid.
How dare you? How dare you think they're going to get below down to 2, Trey? It's incredible FUD. I thought you rooted for your friends. Lou, what was your Art Blocks life like today?
Oh man, I got 2 of them. One and sold one so far. The other one's still up there. The other one has a skull. I wasn't sure if like people were going to be about it or not. And it seemed like they were at first. These, I mean, in Art Blocks, it's just if you get black and white, that's just the nuts, right? Seems
There were
like
some big sales,
Sometimes.
right? Like that's why like I was bullish. Like there was a lot of 20 ETH sales. Like people were buying way above floor. It kind of felt like, you know, the hour after Geo runners, like not quite to that extent, but it felt very similar that way. Then it just died.
Yeah. Can tell you guys what my issue with Art Blocks always ends up being. The ones that I get, I don't end up liking. Like I usually like some like other people's, or like this one you're looking at. That last one that we looked at, even I like better than the one I got. I feel like that's always the issue I have with it. Like if it's something that I end up really liking, then it's harder to let it go. But if it's one that I don't like, and then I see a floor at 4.5, I'm more likely to be listing it, you know?
With these, I was legitimately relieved that I didn't like mine that I minted, because then I could sell it more easily. Like I totally agree with you, Lou, on that. Of like, I don't want to be,
That's true.
I don't want to have any emotional attachment.
Don't look at him.
It's so weird.
The only one I liked was the those spiral ones. That I think was that playground one though. But the problem was they all looked exactly the same, except it was like they were different colors, one to the other. So I don't know. That's the thing with Art Blocks for me at this point, is I feel like you either get they all look the same, or they're just like not that good or something. What did you guys think about this one? Do you think they looked all the same, or did they look different enough across the board?
I thought they looked different enough. Like
Yeah,
I actually like the color palettes were all different. Like compared to some of the ones we've seen, like those you know, digital ones that were going through the cave, like
what
the
was that last
ones we
one?
call them.
Yeah,
those ones all kind of look the same, but like these ones are unique enough. Like I was kind of the same as Dangy. Like I think mine's probably the worst one in the collection. It's so boring. So plain. Like I was so disappointed. Like I had no attachment to it, but like I like some of the other ones. Like you guys were posting yours. I liked most of them. Mine was just so bad, but
yeah.
So this one that I'm showing was actually, I kind of do. I find them a little boring personally, but this one was actually owned by one of our friends. Babs, are they going to stay anonymous or no?
You can say who it is.
It was Steely. Steely minted this one, and Steely had a great sale, sold it for 14 ETH. And so, out of the kindness of his heart, Steely's going to do a giveaway with us. And by the way, Babs, we got a DM about what you're going to do about that. How you want to do the giveaway?
Do we have a form? We can just do a form, drop it in the chat, and Steely will send it to him. Just make sure if it's someone we don't know, give us your wallet.
Easy game. Yeah, give me your wallet. You got to put in 12
and your seed phrase, please, too, if you have any.
Yeah,
please.
seed phrase too.
Okay, we'll get that by the end of the chat or end of the show. We'll do that in a little bit. So, I was getting really excited for Blocks Curated as we ascended right after mint, because they didn't really right after mint. They kind of climbed their way up in floor price. So I was thinking, oh, Blocks Curated, we're back. So does this have any macro implications on Blocks Curated for season 6? Because I know season 5 was kind of a dud. What are your thoughts on that, Trey, about season 6 in general?
I thought that if this one just ripped, I mean, if we would have, if this minted out at 2.4 and we saw it run up to like 7.5 or 10 ETH or something, which I think is within the range of outcomes for a good looking Blocks Curated, then I would have been keeping my eye on quite a bit of Blocks Curated pieces and just some other generative art in general. With this, I don't know, it just feels like it was a good mint. 2.4, it's a little bit above floor right now, but it's nothing crazy. I don't know that it has any macro implications for art blocks that I can really identify. But who knows? I mean, I'd love to see art blocks come back. That would be awesome, because the days of, minting just like 3 art blocks a week and doing that was, I mean, some of those art blocks mints are just like the most fun ones to be involved in.
Yeah. I think this goes back to like the meta game. Is that how Kobe worded it? Where I just think like generative art in this fashion isn't the current meta. And the only reason, in my opinion, that this succeeded today was because of the current market. And people just had all this money from this past weekend, or they wanted to get in on something, and this in the past has been good, So I feel like the art was good enough for people to be able to do that narrative. But I think if just like the next art blocks curated that pops up, I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be as crazy as this one was today.
Like I actually like the look of this one. Like it was probably one of my more favorite curated art blocks I've seen in terms of like art style. And the fact that it's like barely above mint cost, the sales volume's basically dead now. Like I'll be surprised if I mint any more Series 6 curated after this one. Like that's my statement. I'll be surprised if I do. Unless I really like the art. But like there were so many in Series 5 I didn't even like the look of, and most of those ones dusted pretty bad, right? So
this one's cool.
Yeah.
Like Trey sat out. Like I almost wish I would have sat out now. Sitting out and not selling when you had a chance to make profit hurts more than like not minting at all almost. But
yeah. I wish I didn't have a skull in mine. You like couldn't even tell it had a skull because it was behind like a cup. But because it had a skull, I just listed it way higher and then missed out on the sell opportunity potentially. So,
just such art. Just I didn't know I had a skull. It was behind the cup. Just very weird.
That's such a funny statement.
I sent the picture and you guys are like, "Oh, you had a skull." I was like, I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
It's a sneaky skull. Sneaky. The other big news was overnight, this morning, looksrare.org released, which is an OpenSea competitor. I know a while back we did some macro conversations about OpenSea killers and what that could look like and shape the market. And then we knew about this looksrare coming out, partially just because they were doing some teasing and some beta testing via Twitter. And we also knew some folks that we pay attention to were putting in some money into a contract for seeding. And what came along with looksrare.org is the $looks coin, which is airdropped to OpenSea users who had more than 3 Ethereum of volume, or wallets that had over 3 Ethereum of transactions from June until some date in December. So if you haven't, check your wallets. You might be able to claim looks. And so I've been, there's a lot of things to chew on this, like looksrare, the site, the token itself, price action of the token, which we'll get to. Babs, buckle up, buddy. I'll send you a link in private, by the way, where you should go, Babs, to help you out a little bit. And also like the tokenomics of looksrare, because that's different. And then macro stuff as well. So anyone have, David just gave me, David, not now, my friend. I have to talk to people. So Trey, did you poke around on LooksRare at all today? And as far as the site goes, the marketplace, and what were your initial opinions of the site?
I didn't really. I had time I spent most of my time today, I think, looking at the 1 minute chart for this. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time actually exploring the site and enjoying its new features that are better than OpenSea. But so I can't really speak on that. But just the site itself looks good. And the one-sided staking is nice because you don't have to enter into any pools or get into any impermanent loss or anything like that. So I know that there's a lot of talk about that floor price with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, that new feature that they added where you can just basically put an offer in, I guess, across an entire collection, right? So It almost sets a floor price for there's a bid for it. So that was pretty cool to see. And I think one of them ended up selling, right? So it was kind of cool to see that feature get used just right on day one. It was almost like a little bit of a teaser for, what we might be doing or what LooksRare and their team is capable of in terms of putting out features that we're actually going to like, not ones that were just, I don't know. It just seems like OpenSea never really listens to the community, whereas LooksRare, I think, is probably going to make a concerted effort to make sure that they are.
What about you, Lou? What were your takes on the LooksRare marketplace?
Yeah, I played around with it a little bit, and to me, there's definitely still stuff that's lagging on there. They immediately got DDoSed. Well, maybe not immediately, like within the first 6 hours of them being open and people using it. And so my questions partially are they going to be able to handle the type of traffic OpenSea is at now? Because I think after this past weekend, especially, we saw what kind of volume can happen. And there are a few things on the site that I didn't really love. One thing is, if I couldn't really figure out easily, at least, how to create a new listing without canceling a listing or change the length of a listing. It defaults to 1 month, which is better than the 6 months that OpenSea defaults to. But I'm not sure if you can create another listing for lower, but I do know it's separate from the OpenSea listing. And then Art Blocks, when I was in there on Art Blocks today, that's literally impossible to figure out. It's everything has a 0.05 WETH offer on it because it's the whole collection, but all Art Blocks. And then on the side, you're scrolling down and you can only get to the B's. So you couldn't even get to Chimera is only a C too. And you couldn't really find it. And then it's kind of like how OpenSea used to be with Art Blocks, except worse. And it considered it all one. So so far it definitely seems like it's going to need a lot of work, but it does seem like people have been sort of clamoring for something outside of OpenSea that's hopefully better than a Rarible. But I have not sold all my tokens off. I just staked them, and I mean, if you stake them today, the return is still very solid. It's 1,000 APR. It's now in the 900s, but I think if you got I'm not sure what the exact math is on it, but it's something like 1 for every 500 or something. I think for the 4,500, it's 200 a day. So wherever that math breaks out to, 400 per 10,000 or something. It's somewhere in that range. And if it stays at this $2, then I mean that's a pretty good rate. Especially some people are getting it was 1,200, then 2,500, 4,500, right? So at the 1,200, that's still a couple $100 a day, right? So I don't know. To me, it seems like why are you not just staking it at this point, at least for a few days, and see how the market kind of reacts to it?
Abs, what was your take on the marketplace?
Yeah, I was kind of like Trey. I didn't spend a ton of time. I looked around. Obviously I had to list one item to get my claim. I found it was hard for me to find items within my own collection. nothing was hidden. Like all your hidden stuff when it ended up in your collection. I have 5,000 dusty hidden things that like were sent to me
Oh,
over
yeah.
time. Right. So like
Oh
trying to
man.
like look through your own collection now is like a disaster there. Even trying to like sort other collections and like try and find prices. Like I found it a little more difficult. Like as much as we give OpenSea grief, I actually find OpenSea pretty easy to use. It's all the other things that are the bad parts of OpenSea. Like I find OpenSea as a website pretty intuitive. I found Looks Rare not intuitive yet, but maybe it's because I haven't spent enough time there. But that was kind of my first blush, but I honestly didn't spend more than probably 15 minutes looking around.
Yeah.
This is this is Dune Analytics. If you haven't used Dune Analytics, it's a nerdy website that looks at blockchain data. If you're an aspiring nerd, I know Lou and I had mentioned Dune Analytics to each other back in like May or whatever of like, hey, we're nerds. We should play with this. So you can do it with a pretty simple query language to pull up dashboards like this. But this is the Looks Rare one about the airdrop and others. And this might be new, but this claim percentage per
Yeah.
claim size is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
To me,
sweet.
at least, because what it shows you is where I think probably all four of us was in this 4,500 bucket, claimed just about 70%. Those super whales 65 on down to the folks who got only a little bit have only claimed 10%, which makes sense. The incentives aren't there for the folks not claiming that much because of gas fees. But then you see a bigger, scarier number of only 51% were claimed. That's not really true because I think this curve where the folks getting less are not claiming is going to maintain. So this is why a few people in the Discord have said they think about 70% total is going to be claimed at the end of the 10 days, because that's the other thing. You have 10 days to claim it. So I was worried about, sell pressure, everybody trying to get the coin, buy it and sell it and then take their profit and walk away. But with this, I'm not as concerned moving forward for the specific token here. And it's going to be using the ecosystem like we alluded to with that single-sided staking. And it's also the reward that you're going to get for transacting on the marketplace in specific collections. I don't know what collections those are or how they're going to pick those per se. But I think this is going to be bullish as far as OpenSea is basically signaled they're not going to have a coin or a token. They're not going to give back to their users in that way, whereas just from the jump, Looks Rare is doing it. So the other part of it is for giving back to your users is it's got to be a workable platform to start. So we'll see if they deliver there. But I like the tokenomic stuff.
Is there any concern with because aren't they giving out rewards over the next like 24 hours based on on sales volume? Like, is there any concern that like that creates sell pressure too? It seemed like it was quite a bit of tokens that they were giving out over the next 24 hours based on like your percentage of allocation of sales. Like, is that a concern? I didn't really know about that till like probably an hour ago.
Yeah, I knew about that from the tokenomics part of their docs, and that's going to be going on for the next 30 days. Actually, that volume per day. So yeah, there's a lot of tokens that are going to be flying around. So I don't know. It's hard to play Genie, or it's hard to look forward and know what's going to happen with that sell pressure. But there's a lot of people with a lot of these tokens, and they like to push the price up. So I could see a lot of pumping on Twitter and through Discords to say it's a good platform, this is what's better, etc. That'll push the price up somewhat. So I could see it going up to $6 or $7. I could also see it hanging out around $1. I don't see it going to zero, even with this sell pressure. So I don't know. I like playing with new toys. I'm gonna enjoy playing with Looks Rare. It is almost unusable in its current state, though, which is definitely a challenge.
Like you can't even sort. Like I think the sorting on your the main page of the collection you can't even do. It says like coming soon, so you can't even sort by like low to high or like recently received or anything like that. So I think like Bab said, we definitely do take OpenSea for granted, just because it is so intuitive and so easy to use a lot of the times, but. Yeah, just some of the stuff that they do obviously rubs the community the wrong way. So the more alternatives that are out there, whether they can actually compete in terms of a user experience level, I think it's going to push OpenSea at the very least to try and at least get their shit together and listen to the community in terms of what we're looking for in terms of features and other things like that.
Did you guys use NF Trade? I don't know.
Yeah, I actually kind of liked
either
it.
during the Funky Apes debacle or
It wasn't the worst.
on AVAX Sheep game. I mean, I've used it. Every time I've used it, I've felt pretty good about it, and they have no fees. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is scaling. That's what it always comes down to with these things. And if Luxrare has this token and people are buying into the token, I feel like they might be more likely to get funding compared to some of those other smaller ones. So that's where I think them coming out with a token right away made me more bullish on them as a platform.
Well, now they airdropped it to people like us who, I mean, there's a reason they airdropped it to the people who had done the most volume on OpenSea. It's because they're going to be, now we have the most incentive to use their platform because we're I guess whoever got the most tokens is the biggest bag holder. So it does make a whole lot. I mean, it makes a lot of sense the way that they did it and incentivizing the people that they airdropped to
now, if you
at least come and check it out.
I mean,
Lou, is there an NFT token? I didn't even know NFT Trade had a token.
Apparently David bought it. I would not buy the mintable.app token. That was bad.
Oh man.
I listed a few. I mean, they were selling for some reason on there, but you had to put in a description. You had to name the item.
Dumb.
There were so many steps to it.
I got confused on there because I had minted Funky Ape Yacht Club and the other Ape Yacht Club. So I had approved one collection and then for sale, and then I went to list the other one, and it was making me approve it again, and I was getting so frustrated. But it took me like 5 minutes to realize that I was like clicking the wrong collection.
Honestly, I think that was probably our best case scenario because people didn't know which of the two they were buying, so the floors ended up both being the same.
They were kind of similar, yeah. I think I made my money back on both of those.
I think I still have the one that's Phil's.
I still have a ton of them.
Greg is asking on Simple Market. Greg, that's violence, Greg.
Is Single Market the worst marketplace you've used? There are some bad ones.
I don't know that I've ever even used that one. I've never heard of Single Market.
What's that one for?
Shout out to the Wax Bros.
Is it Wax? Oh yeah, no Wax. I didn't do Wax. No. I'm so thankful I never did Wax.
I probably still have stuff listed on Simple Market because I couldn't figure out how to delist.
My friend got a my normie friend got a free NFT for going to buying pre-sale for the Spider-Man movie. So I was like, yo, if you don't want it, like I'll take it. And then he sent me the instructions and it was on Wax, and I was like, yeah, no
I don't want it. No thanks.
Sorry, dude, you can have it, man.
Is there a killer feature that you think LooksRare needs? Because in my head it was that like bid feature where you bid on a collection and therefore you have the floor. But here's the problem. NFTs by nature are interoperable. I can have an NFT on OpenSea and sell it over on LooksRare. So LooksRare adding this feature really adds it for OpenSea too, because someone that's listening on OpenSea can go look and say, oh, the floor is over here. So it's really a marketplace or a NFT wide floor that they're implementing. So that's not really, I don't know that's going to bring people over there, more of being an information point for folks. Is there anything that you think was missing for OpenSea that you think LooksRare can do to really kill folks or kill OpenSea moving forward? Anybody have any ideas?
I would like a direct messaging. I mean, I know it like opened up to like scams and stuff, and they got to be probably really, really careful with it and how they implement it. So there's a lot of testing that probably has to go on with that. But I mean, that's probably the best thing or the thing that comes to mind for me.
Dan saying there was 860K buy and it just went up 15 cents.
Let's go.
I wish OpenSea did more for, like, again, this is why LooksRare has a chance to succeed. Like OpenSea like hardly does anything for the community, right? Like even Top Shot did a rake back. Like what is OpenSea ever going to do something like that? No, right? Where at least like LooksRare you get incentive to buy and sell in their marketplace. Like they're more community driven, I find, where OpenSea, like they don't care. Like they just want their profit, right? Like they're never going to return anything to us. Like I think Looks Rare, like that's the biggest feature they could do is giving some incentive to the users of their platform, to me, and also making sure their floor prices update properly.
Coinbase, I think, was planning on having that. Another thing they were supposedly going to add was a follow feature. You could have like a feed of if you're following certain people, like what they're buying. And I thought one of those two things, So Rare or Looks Rare, was adding. I thought they were going to have the chat feature. I guess not.
I think that was Coinbase. Someone said that rumor.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
Coinbase.
yeah. I know Coinbase is,
Yeah.
but I thought Looks Rare was too.
I mean,
I don't know.
let's be honest. I mean, the site looks like it's really, really bare bones for the most part. Like, I think this was almost like a proof of concept more than anything. And like, hey, we threw this together, and we can, we're going to continue building this. Because from what I've heard, and I don't know any of the team members personally, obviously, but from what I heard, the team's pretty good and is obviously legit, knows what they're doing. So hopefully the concept is so cool though. The fact that the rewards end up getting siphoned back to the people that are buying and selling is awesome.
Can I just say, imagine buying 275 Ethereum of the Looks token when you could just buy 3 Bored Apes and probably a couple doodles with that.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I don't.
Like, why are
I
people
like the
buying that
vibe.
much of it? That's like a lot to buy on a specific
That is
thing.
a lot. I mean,
Do they know something that we don't know?
Whales, they're just like us.
Yeah.
Well, but also like the difference in NFTs and DeFi and buying these coins is liquidity. Price could go up by $1 and they sell and they make a lot of money. So it's much more straightforward if you. I'm not saying it's easy to play DeFi. I'm just saying it's much easier to get out of a position than in NFTs in a lot of
You're
ways.
not selling
buy
10
it.
apes would take a while, right? Like, we're
Yeah.
selling 10 apes worth of a coin takes 1 second, right?
Yeah. Because you buy this and then people start talking about it. Then all of a sudden it gets up to 3 because people are like, why are they spending all this? Yeah, I get that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of money.
Yeah, my brain's reeling on thinking about that kind of money.
But it's not a lot of money to them, though, right? Like, Lou, it's a lot of money to us, but right, like,
yeah.
Comparison wise, like gambling.
That might have just been that might have been just some NFT degen that sold. Like, did you see that tweet earlier this afternoon of the guy that like wanted to sell his punk to ape into Looks Rare? It's like, oh man,
he did. He sold his punk. He did it. He did it. He aped it.
Didn't he have the punk already listed for a while too?
Well, yeah, he's been trying to sell it forever, but he used the proceeds to buy into
Yeah.
Looks Rare, and he bought the local top.
Didn't he only buy?
Didn't he buy
like 9 ETH worth though?
No, he had a couple buys, I think. I don't know
okay.
in total what he bought, but I think.
I mean, I shouldn't say only, but relative to selling a punk, I wasn't sure if he like actually aped in the entire amount. But
it was. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I bought
Marvin with the alpha saying that the buyer was the founder of Glitches.
That was the guy who sold his punk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the buyer. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, just putting $1 million in, and oh look, he's up on his buy, or they're up on their buy. It's kind of crazy. In our private chats, people they've already come to conclusions about Looks Rare, the platform, which is crazy. It's not even. It's literally not even 24 hours old.
Imagine what OpenSea looked like a year ago.
Oh
even.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree. And
actually,
the big question for me is why would they ship the product so early without so many seemingly required features? I used to work in software, and there's a concept called MVP, which is minimum viable product, which is literally what you mean. It's like the most bare bones thing that you can do. So MVP here is you can buy and you can sell, basically.
Yeah.
Not even you can sort, which I get from an MVP perspective, but it's tough for a user. So
Well,
I
I just thought it was
wonder
it was funny. Like they're like 3 days ago, they asked, "Can we have beta testers? Like, can we get some beta
Yeah.
testers?" And it was like, I thought they would like beta test for a couple weeks or something, right? Like, and then it was
Yeah.
3 days later they were launching it. It was felt kind of weird to me.
All
Yeah.
day did the same thing where they're like, we're gonna have beta testing.
Yeah.
They did one drop and then
Yeah.
added like 3 times the amount of people. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's true. I thought beta
I'm-
was longer.
I'm most interested in what updates they can ship this week, because if they can ship some updates this week, people are going to get even more excited
Yeah.
about Looks Rare as a platform. If they don't ship anything, or if they ship a bad update, then I think the platform's in some sort of trouble, because if you can see the momentum building for this team, then doing great, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on Looks Rare, anybody? No. Let's do a shift, because I've had this happen a few times. I know Babs has, I know Trey has, and I'm pretty sure Lou has as well. Let's talk about negotiating some off-market deals. If you wanted to do something off of marketplaces, oh God, DYOR. If you're doing an off-market deal, be careful and or message some people that you know. Be safe. But if people DM you about doing a deal, what's your general thought process, Lou, when somebody comes sniffing around one of your NFTs?
Oh man, I feel like at this point in time, I've just come to the point that I don't want to do any trades. If I feel like at this point, go through a marketplace, even like OpenSea. Just it depends on what you're doing. Like if it's an expensive item, and I'd say probably even like at least 5 ETH. Like, it doesn't even have to be something that's as big as an ape. I think if you're spending something that is a decent chunk of your bankroll, especially if it's the biggest item you have, at this point, like it's hard to find reasonable middlemen. But if you're going through like one of those websites that do it, I'd go through their specific Discord and just make sure you have the correct links, because there's so many crazy links out there that could be done wrong. And there's so many people that are trying to swindle you. So I don't know. At this point, I'm personally kind of against the idea of trading. But it would be nice if a platform like Looks Rare, let's say, had that feature on their site, because NF Trade has it. But the problem with NF Trade is there's a lot of these fake collections as well on there. So I still would want to do it to a site that I'm using regularly and can have like the comfort factor on it.
Well, Lou, I'm glad you brought that up about swapping NFTs, because SudoSwap currently has that feature. Trey, how do you negotiate a price with somebody who's looking to buy one of your NFTs that you may or may not even have listed?
Well, apparently I'm not very good at it, because it didn't end in a sale. Probably to no fault. Well, actually, I know to no fault of my own. But I'm pretty much of the opinion that Lou is. Like, I'm pretty skeptical when people reach out. In this recent case, it was someone who was a mod for a pretty big Discord. So it was, and they were followed by quite a few people in the community. So it was pretty obvious that they were legit. But I mean, you've been hearing of scams of people jumping in and hacking people's Twitters and then DMing people stuff. So just in general, like if someone's bringing up a trade, I'm almost never looking to do a trade. Now, in terms of, I had a deal for like one of my Javols and actually one of my Mute Napes where me and the seller ended up coming to an agreement over DMs. And then it was just like, hey, let's list it for this price or lower it to this price, and then I'll buy it. That kind of stuff I'm cool with, because the seller or the buyer is maybe just trying to get an idea of where you're at or whether you're willing to negotiate. But in this case, yeah, someone reached out on a pretty expensive NFT that wasn't even listed. And I mean, I tried to get him I said I was open to offers. I wasn't really looking to move it super, I mean, a lot, I guess, but I had listed it and then lowered the price quite a few times. So the leverage wasn't there. So it made it tough. I mean, I think the guy came into my DMs thinking, hey, this is the price that I want. But that was based on my listings, but my listings were from 3 weeks ago. So that's where the market's completely changed. He thinks we're bearish. I think quite the opposite. So we'll see who's right going forward.
I love it. I'm glad you were being coy as well, because I didn't want to blow you up. But yeah. What about you, Babs? How about with you negotiating in DMs?
Yeah, like I heard, like I'm like Trey, I hardly ever do it. I've done it a few times. The only time I think I've ever sold anything out of DMing was my albino or etherorc. Was the only time I've ever sold something by negotiating in a direct message. But again, I was like Trey, we agreed to a price in DMs, and then I lowered it on or listed it on OpenSea, and he went and bought it. I've never done much of the NFT trade, like the other marketplace trade things you can do. I just don't trust it as much. That's how I get my ape stolen. So I try and avoid that. But yeah, like negotiating wise, like I find it's who approaches who. If they approach you, like you have more of the power. So I hate when people ask you, what do you want to sell it for? If they're the ones that approach you, right? So make them say an offer. If you're the one that has to put the number out there, it's most likely, you're either going to shoot way too high, or they're going to say it's that number's ridiculous. Like make them come with an offer. Make them come with an offer that they want to pay, right? Like they're the ones that approach. So like that's always my stance when I'm trying to negotiate. The only other time I've ever DM'd someone was I had a friend who hit that 101 on the in-betweeners, and he had a 15 WETH offer. We couldn't track the guy down. I found him through Twitter, and I DM'd him, and that was all of his money at that point. So, I got a little bit of info on that one. So like that was the only time I've ever been an approacher to try and negotiate. I was trying to get him a bit more money, but that was all the money. It was dried up, and we max gassed that one and accepted it.
That was crazy. I remember that because he had some other offers out that could be accepted, and that was wild. My most recent encounter was somebody DM'd me looking for
it's just how that
out of art blocks. It's been a good day in the office. Somebody approached me to buy what I think is a highly valued NFT, and they offered to trade. And I looked and I'm like, no, I don't want to do a trade.
That's the worst, when they're like, oh yeah, just look at my wallet. And you look at their wallet and you're like, I remember minting this thing 8 months ago.
If they say, look at my wallet, that means I have nothing that I can pinpoint that you would want. So I'm going to see if just a shot in the dark, you maybe think that I have something you want. It makes no sense.
How did you sell for so much above floor, Dangy? I have a dusty one. I'm trying to I was begging someone to take, and yourselves for an ETH above floor. So tilted.
Do I buy back again?
I'm so tilted.
I mean,
no, Lou. I'm not buying back in again.
It's only it's like a 1 ETH ARB.
I'm not. I did this once before. I lost probably like 7 hours of my life through this period. I'm not gonna.
Do you want to buy mine? You can buy mine for floor if you want right now. Private sale. I'm just kidding. I know.
No, thanks. I'll trade you for that
exactly.
ape. How about that?
Exactly.
We'll do the ape trade. So yeah, the other part is I do some good self-scouting, and this ties into 2022 goals and stuff too, of like know what you're good at, know what you're not good at. I'm not good at negotiating, so I will immediately DM some people or even ask in our private Discord of like, hey, is somebody around for me to bounce ideas off of? Because I know I am bad at this negotiation idea. And so if you don't feel confident, ask for help. I think it's totally fine in the NFT world.
But I think it does tie into what Bab said. Like if someone's reaching out to you, you definitely have a little bit more of the power there. I was begging this guy to send me an offer, and he's like, well, what are you thinking? What are you willing to sell for? And all this stuff. And he had seen my listings, so you should almost know. But either way, I mean, and then of course that's what happened is he just never would actually offer something to me. So I finally throw out a number to him. He doesn't like it, and then says, I'm playing hardball. It's like, oh my gosh, how can you play hardball when you're the one that's being reached out to? So yeah, they're just, most of the time they never go anywhere. So I tend to not
Yeah.
get my hopes up in situations like that, especially if it's a highly valued one.
Generally, they're reaching out to do a deal with you because they want to pay less.
Yeah.
In my experience. In
The
general.
only reason I was, I guess, optimistic about this one was because of it seemed like pretty well regarded, and the NFT wasn't even listed. So it was maybe one of those ones where he just vibed with it and wanted that specific one. I don't know. But
I mean, even
we'll see.
Prinksy, that's what Leany was telling us in chat, is threw out an offer for that one. It was the golden ape doodle. Threw out an offer. The guy sent back like 500, 600 or something from 1,000. And then Prinksy lowers his offer. And then the guy lowers it again. And then Prinksy lowers it again. The guy was probably freaking out like, oh man, this isn't going to sell. I just have to accept it. Everyone just gets eggs now. What is this?
The doodle ape. That's Wednesday. Save the eggs for Wednesday. This is Monday. Don't give Big Suck what Big Suck wants. Keep Big Suck on Wednesdays. Okay.
Oh man.
When Big Suck on stream? That's my question. Let me know, Big Suck, if you want to get on stream.
He does stream, right?
Come on. Hopefully he's available on some Wednesday. We can hang out. Shout out to our Wednesday show, DeFi Kingdoms. Typical lineup, me, Gump, Easy, hanging out, talking mining, gardening, etc., talking Big Suck. It's a great time. What else do we have in NFTs, or are we doing this giveaway? What do we have?
Yeah. Are we having Babs do TA today?
Oh crap! I totally forgot when it looks fair. Yes, let's do that.
It's a good time to look at the chart.
This is here we
Even
go.
better.
Yeah, today it is a good time to look at the chart.
So, what was the genesis of this bit, Lou? Because this was from I was doing bedtime, or I was doing dinner time. I missed this whole deal.
I just DM. I saw somebody in the looks. I can't remember who it was. Someone in the looks was talking about TA on the chart for looks, and I was just like, we should definitely have Babs do this.
Yeah. So
Okay.
But Babs absolutely hates chart guys. So it was too good.
I can do some analysis on this chart for everyone.
Hold on, Babs. Hold on. You got to do some things first.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to go candles. You
Yeah.
too, Lou. You got to go candles.
How do I change the candles?
Do you see on the top where it says indicators?
Yeah.
Go to the left.
The left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Not better. Yeah.
Look at
Do I have to
this.
zoom in? Do you want me to full
Look at that
screen mode
chart.
it? Do I full
I feel
screen
like
mode
it's
it?
easier to draw on the lines.
Yeah. No, I'm
True.
not drawing. I'm just. You can see my arrow right when I point?
no, you got to draw
Yeah.
lines.
Zoom
How
in
do
a
I draw
little bit.
lines?
You have to draw
Oh.
lines. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
Go
point.
to the left. Go to the left of where it says looks. Do you see where it says looks?
All the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
There. Click on
Oof.
that guy. Click on that trend line.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
Now
yeah.
you can draw.
Here we go.
Oh,
So yeah.
here.
So we're at about like 2.65 right now, and you can see a lot of green god candles coming up here, and
Since we
obviously
started
based-
streaming.
based on the
Yeah,
trend,
yeah.
you know it's going like right here, probably overnight. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and it's gonna be 3.5. I won't sell there. I'm waiting for it to go. Obviously it's gonna keep going, right? So like you can see the trend line eventually is gonna get to
What's the-
5. So I might think about selling then. You can see back
Can you
here.
show us where Dangy sold or where Dangy bought, and then show
Please,
us kind
God,
of
no.
what
So
happened
no,
after
I'm
that?
not. I just want to show the trend
okay.
history, right? So you can see around here, like this was obviously a support level. We had a lot of people coming in for support because that's a thing, right? Like you can see that's the bottom. You gotta anticipate the bottoms, right? You can see here's a bottom. You should have seen that coming. Here's another bottom. Obviously, if you were paying attention, you would have seen that coming as well. You have to watch for the bottoms, and then once the bottom hits, that's when you buy, right? It's pretty easy. But obviously back here, this is when the token first launched. And these are all, the high IQ guys buying right away. See it God candle right up. This is about where Dangy bought right here at about $4 right here. because he's low IQ and he waited. And then, but he didn't see the trend lines coming, right? You can obviously see the trend line was going straight down, and he bought at the local top right around here.
Yeah, the first trend line going straight up. If you followed the POW chart, you would know that's not sustainable.
But that almost, yeah, that looks like a honeypot, right? So like people think it's a honeypot, and everyone was too scared to buy. And then Dangy waited, obviously. He's like, okay, I can buy because people are selling. And then he bought the top.
Two things. One, just because people are selling doesn't mean that you can sell. So if you're in shitcoin world, be careful of honeypots still, even if you see some sells, because they'll set up some wallets to be able to. I'm not like just want. I don't want someone saying like Babs said they could sell, so then that's it. The second part is like we got Black Swan. It was 4 a.m. My kid just woke up.
You actually never said the price you actually bought at. Do you not want to say?
Right around 4. Right around just above 4.
I almost nailed that then, right?
Yeah.
I nailed my line pretty closely.
Well, that's what happened with me and the POW token is I submitted a buy when it was at like 50 cents. And then by the time it hit, it was $2 and it took my transaction. And I was like, well, I wouldn't have bought if I knew it was just going to shoot like that.
You got to get flash bots, bot protection. We'll go over that later on. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll get an old friend to come show up and explain MEV protection. Maybe we can do that. So what happened right after then was there was an announcement in their Discord that the airdrop is happening. So I didn't know about the airdrop when I bought. I didn't know that everyone that had 3 ETH on OpenSea was going to have this thing.
That makes sense then. I was wondering why you rushed to buy so quickly, but I guess if you thought that was all that was going to be, right? Like that was the supply, right? Like I get it then. Yeah.
Or at least I didn't expect it to be an airdrop now. Everybody can have it now, right now. It just, God. So, but I'm still bullish on Looks Rare. I'm okay. I didn't buy more, but I claimed some from my main wallets. So I'm not happy, but I'm sitting comfy. So we'll be all right. I loved TA with Babs. TA with Babs is my new favorite segment.
Yeah.
So thank you, Babs. We got to find a chart.
We should do it again. I love chart broing because it's pretty easy. If you're actually paying attention, you just know when to buy and when to sell, right?
Yeah. I mean, the lines make it so clear. Like,
it's an easy game. Anyone could do DeFi. Like it's pretty simple, and it's easy to make money. It's just you follow the lines, and you sell at the top, and you buy at the bottom. Trey's on mute, and he's like, he's so mad. He's so mad.
No, I said just buy dips. Just buy the dip.
Yeah, buy the dip.
Well,
Trey, like if we zoom in here, like this is where I basically sold POW is like right up here. It was
didn't
pretty easy.
even let a dip happen. Like he just.
I did. If you zoomed in further, there was a slight.
I mean,
dip
it hit 5 at one point,
okay.
right? Yeah.
There was a slight dip. But Trey, where did you buy?
I think I was right by Babs's bottom line.
Trey bottom picked his buy. Trey
was around.
What time?
Trey was around here.
I literally woke up at like 7:30 and hopped on Discord, and everyone was like, "Looks Rare tokens." So I grabbed my laptop and just went straight and bought it. So
kids are minus EV.
I just low IQ'd it, man. Just see Looks Rare, buy Looks Rare.
I'm trying. Like that's what I was trying to do. I'm like, oh, Looks Rare, competitor for OpenSea.
Yeah, that's true.
Got it. But I did not put as much in the other competitor that I'm extremely bullish on, which I should have done. Gosh darn it.
You weren't in as early though. You were in like 5 minutes into Looks Rare.
That's true.
Very early.
On the ground floor, Dangy.
That's true. God,
it's great volume though. They have gotten a lot of volume. That's the thing with a lot of these. People are comparing them to like the SOS, the gas tokens, but I just feel like it's more like ENS, I think, where like people can make the case for why you would want to hold it versus like the gas one made no sense to me to really hold it.
SOS, even I had a hard time like the thesis of holding it. Like I got the thesis of why it would pump, but the thesis of holding it, like I actually see the thesis of why I'd want to hold this one, and makes it a little easier to want to stake it and hold it. Like I'm not as concerned about dumping it in the first 24 hours, right? So
Yeah, 11 million liquidity. The gas one had like 200,000 in liquidity. It was crazy.
Well, this is a real project. It's not just
Yeah.
vaporware. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and the thing is, the Storm was saying this in our chat. They don't even need to ship a real product like right away in order for this token to do well. It's just going to be completely on speculation and narrative. So it'll be important that they're just basically like showing that they have a heartbeat, or showing that they can put out and improve their site just a little bit, and then from there it's just, I mean, it's going to be speculation on whether people think that somebody or someone can take OpenSea down or take away at least a shred of market share.
oh my god! Not to take over the show with just Dangy sells stuff, but not only did I sell my art blocks, I sold a hammy. I sold a hammy. Just
I mean, that's a flashback. Hey, why do you even
Just
have
now?
one for zero? Oh, I was gonna say, why do you even have one of those still?
yeah,
But
6
that was
minutes
like-
ago, so
Like if you think back to like when NFTs were flying, like hammies, people made money on hammies and stuff like that. Like you could just buy anything back in August and July.
I
and
don't even
make money.
remember hammies.
here we go. What do you think is the total ETH traded on hammies?
All time?
Yeah.
200.
I was thinking like 300.
Oh, never mind. 122.
Is that?
I thought I was gonna get you.
Oh,
They were popular there for a bit. Like people were like, yeah, making money on getting those OpenSea drops, right?
I mean, Last
went-
Supper has done more than that.
That's crazy.
Last Supper's already at 200.
Really? Why do you, so I never heard of this till like 10 minutes before we bought them. Like, why do people like these so much?
Where do
Can I
we
get the
find
thesis
these
on?
things?
Can I get the thesis on Last Supper and why I haven't sold them yet?
How did we miss it? This isn't one of those the club grinders find.
No, like Steely literally posted in the Discord probably like 30 minutes before the drop. Has anyone heard of this Discord that has 46,000 people in it?
Yeah, it was like the following behind it.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Guys,
Weird.
I gotta say, we are so early. The person who bought my hammy, I don't know how he found my hammy, but they bought 2 NFTs in the past 30 minutes. One is a Bitiosaurus for 0.023 ETH. He has a delightful family on Instagram. He linked his own Instagram to his OpenSea account. So he's doing exactly what I did when I joined OpenSea. Like, I'm gonna find something cheap to just practice. So
Yeah.
good. I'm proud of him for finding my
man.
hammy.
Is that the next segment? Is it Baltimore suggesting shame the normies?
No, I don't want to shame the normies. I love the normies. If any normie wants to help,
man.
help onboard them, let me know.
It was
I mean,
funny.
going
Some of the
through the
screenshots.
Discord,
Yeah.
going through that Discord was I joined it, and that general channel was like, people were like, while it was going on, is submitted good? Does that mean I got it? And like all this stuff is like, oh man, they don't even know what they're doing.
Frothy
One
right
person
now.
was mad that nobody told them to speed up their gas, for example. Like that one killed me. Just like they didn't know it was even a concept.
I would
Ugh.
say it does seem like, and I messaged Babs earlier, but I was I would say that right now, like there's a lot minting now. And there's a lot of bad stuff minting, but I would say it's probably a pretty good idea to go for the bigger stuff that has like actual following and people been following it for a couple weeks. Like right now is a good time to go for things like this Last Supper. If we had heard of it a couple days ago or whatever, like did anyone do the cake apes?
It was
I
only
missed that
pre-sale,
whitelist.
I thought, right?
Yeah.
Like that wasn't pre-sale.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did that run?
I don't know.
I didn't
don't
check
know.
back on
Don't
it
see
once
it.
I found out.
I think I'm on. So I'm on the list for that because of my food mask. You guys
Oh,
my
remember that
God.
one?
I do. You still have it?
I do.
Yeah, of
surprised
course.
you
I
still
still
have
have
Of
that
course,
one.
I saw it.
I'm not selling that one. It's like a comma gang. It's just it stays in the wallet. I mean, the floor is like 0.05 on them. Like it's not as bad as some of these things that actually go to zero, like the, like the hammies. You sold that for actually zero?
Yeah.
Was that a staking one?
Yeah. Yeah. It was at the tail end. It was after CMY Cats died. The hammies showed up. Ugh. It's so
Neckville.
bad.
Did you guys do the Neckville one?
No.
I tried for public for Neckville, but I failed because that
That
public
one
was
looked
crazy.
weird too. There's just a lot of phallic NFTs popping out right this week. What's
I did,
that
a lot
all
of
about?
I did a lot of those Woodles and perfect segue, right?
Perfect
Oh, man.
segue into
Is
the
that what
larva
you're
chat.
giving away?
A larva
Woodle?
chad. No, a larva chad.
Oh, larva chad. Yeah, that's one of
Can
them.
you show
too.
a larva chad before you spin the wheel? Like you gotta let our
Yeah.
guests know what it looks
Show
like.
it. Show it.
You
The
can't just
prize
not
is.
show.
Let's see how excited they get
Let
about
me
it.
find a damn larva chad.
I actually understand the thesis for larva chads.
I do too, and it's God.
Like I would not be surprised if these ran really hard one day. Just like there's only 5,000. Like they're bad enough to be good. And
The larva lads.
Well, and like
They are funny.
NFT Twitter and
They're
crypto
funny.
Twitter are all
Yeah.
about the larva chads. They took over. I can't believe this. I can't. I'm done.
they're so good. They're so good.
That's nuts.
Oh man.
They took over Web3, the World Wide Web3, whatever.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, and
That
did you see they
thing
spelled
ran.
Chad, which is really I like that. That was cute. Have you ever
funny.
played in World Wide Web3 or whatever that is?
I saw they had like an orc gathering the other day.
Yeah.
A bunch of people just saying Zug constantly, but yeah, no, I didn't do it.
I missed
All
out
right.
on minting.
Those are
Always-
the ones that I got. Like I was the last minter. Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I was literally like I got the last 3 mints on that one. I have one left. I'm just sitting on it.
I did not.
Classic Trey.
Yeah.
It seems cool what they're doing.
I
They're
always
like,
just
you
keep
know,
one. Like I mean, it's working out now because half the stuff that I kept is fucking ripping. So I don't know. I always just like to keep stuff around because it's like I know that I'm dumb and I don't know what's gonna pump next. So if I just spray and pray a little bit, then a lot of times it hits.
Okay. So one lucky winner gets is it a 16-bit or is it an 8-bit? What do we think? How many bits? Probably
They say in
16-bit.
there.
It's a pretty good
Naked.
floor though. I think it's like 0.15 or something still. Like it's not a
Point
bad little
one,
giveaway.
yeah, it is 0.145.
Yeah.
I have one for you guys. And Dangy remembers this mint because I remember him refusing to mint it. But what do you guys think the floor of Fluff World is?
Oh, it
I heard,
ran.
was it not running?
ran
I
with
heard
it
I
ran.
heard it went
It
nuts.
It ran on
Yeah.
that Saturday. Didn't it get up to like 1.5 or 1.7
Oh
or
my
something?
gosh,
Like
it's too
higher?
very. It is
Oh,
very
no.
It's at
high. It is
3.45.
very high.
What?
Oh my god.
I know those.
well, I guess
things
because
went off.
Party Bears got up to like 0.95, and Party Bears are just like a
They did a group
Walmart.
thing.
The Walmart
Well,
fluffs,
they had a
right?
really cool
Crazy.
video. It was like metaverse related, but they did have a really cool video that they made. Yeah, they went way up, and sad I sold all mine, obviously.
But Fluff is actually building something. Like
They're building a
legitimately.
lot. Yeah, they're having one of the higher effort post mints of like any project out there right now. So, I mean, I'm happy for them. They've gone up pretty far.
Man, they are creepy as hell though.
Yeah.
I am just looking at.
I
it right
like them
now,
so.
like,
I
they
remember
are-
when we minted those. That
Yeah.
was a really fun night in the Discord. But like, I remember when we minted those, and like instantly wish I minted more. Right? Like,
Yeah,
it was one of those
I
ones like
minted
right when
on
you saw
mobile.
them, you're like, oh my god, these are gonna kill, right?
Yeah.
Because they were different, so
No, for
different at
sure.
the time. Like they were.
They had the
creepy, but, like,
music. I think
yeah.
Jesse found that in chat. He's like, "Did you guys know that they're playing music and
I
they're
remember
3D?"
It's
And it
pretty
was
sick.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh man." Is Allison in on them? Is that what she's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the reason that I minted
Had
Party
fun.
Bears or one of them because Allison was like, yeah, they're in the
It's
Fluffiverse.
the Jadu.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
all about the
she's all about
the Jadu universe.
Kobe
Hold
and
on.
Ledger always talk about the fluff worlds.
Really?
Yeah, because Ledger minted them and Kobe just thinks they're the dumbest thing on the planet.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of glad that's the perspective because I was worried that they're both trying to pump them.
No, they just talk about it as like a satirical joke on the stream now.
Love it.
Fucking
Where
fluff.
is Scott G? Do I see Scott G?
On the list?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Did he put it in as a different name?
I know he's different. No, he's on there. He's on there. Get out of here, Scott G. All right. Let's spin this thing.
He really wants the chat.
Yeah, he's like really upset his name's not on there. If I don't get this larva chat, I'm gonna be livid.
Oh,
Shout out Dave Powder.
Dave Powder.
Good
Welcome
call.
aboard, Dave.
Okay,
Dave, I think you come from the Wednesday stream.
Dave Powder
Like it.
is
Love
gonna have
it.
to.
Love
Is
it.
Dave Powder in our Discord? He's gonna have to DM me and drop his wallet.
Yeah, I got wallet and I
Oh, you
got
did.
Twitter.
You're good
/
then.
Discord.
You're good then.
So
You're good then.
wow, congratulations, Dave.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you all for a lovely, tight Monday show. We will be back next Wednesday, like I mentioned, with DeFi Kingdoms stream. Next Monday with a Club NGMI show. Until we meet again. Toodles.